Where's your door?
So we know who we got. Come in.
Oh, is somebody here?
Yeah, Cole just got here.
Hi, Cole. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
We're recording.
What are we on 10?
Are we on time?
Yeah, right?
It's week 10.
Yeah!
It's week 10! Okay.
10.
10.
10.
10. 10.
10.
Normal people would do this.
Jiu-jitsu people do this.
Really?
10 Planet. You're welcome.
Okay.
Free advertising. Okay. You're gonna learn how to do this first stage. You can keep coming through. Featuring special guest Cole carrying his bike to the corner. You're gonna learn the first step of doing a pull-up. Most of the time when people can't do it, most of the time when people can't do a pull-up, it's just because they don't know which muscles to use. Yeah. And most of the time people can do a pull-up, it's because they're using the wrong muscles anyway. So you're gonna learn to use the right muscles. So remember the back our robot dance that you did a few weeks ago? Yeah.
The grocery shopping?
The grocery shopping, yeah, the grocery shopping, the standing at the street
Your
corner.
Campbell soup?
Yeah, that's exactly how we pick things up. So it's the same idea. The only difference is it's gonna be from a different angle. So instead of me pulling my shoulders straight back and reaching in front of me, obviously if I'm doing a pull-up, I'm reaching overhead. But the idea is the same. I'm gonna start off, in this case, it doesn't really matter if your hands are forward, whatever, it's kind of whatever's comfortable. But I'm gonna have my arms up and in front of me, kind of think about like a Y shape with my arms. From here, I'm gonna think about my shoulders pinching together. But since I'm pulling I always think about pulling in the direction that my arms are going, right? So instead of just pulling them back, I'm thinking about pulling them down and together, right? I'm almost thinking about taking my shoulder blade and putting it in my back pocket. Yeah, there's a reason I don't start with this one. It's harder than the other one. But I'm here. I drive my shoulders down away from my ears and I squeeze. Yeah, just like that. Nice. Do a few more. Does it stare you back weirdly? Nice, good. You gonna put my hand between your shoulder blades?
Yeah,
Yeah, nice. Try and squeeze a little bit more. Good. Last few. Nice. One more.
I feel like I'm sticking my belly out.
You are. So a lot of people do this. They will they'll kind of reach belly. Eventually, you want to get to the point where you keep your core engaged, so you're not just like, right? You'll see people doing this with the next exercise that we're going to do, which is called a lat pull down. You'll see people do this at gyms a lot when they have like that bar, and they'll be like at this angle, which is basically a perpendicular pull, but because they've done this. So it is okay when you're learning if that helps you get that squeeze. But eventually, keep your core engaged. I want to pull, right, without that. Okay, any questions on that?
No.
How'd your shoulder feel?
I'm pretty good.
Okay, so we're going to do a little banded pull down with this. You might want to change the angle of that just slightly.
We can be over here?
Yeah. So, if you are at a commercial gym that has like an actual lat pull down machine, that works great. This is another variation. You can do it seated, you can do it standing, it really doesn't matter. The main thing is just getting you a little bit of resistance for that motion that we just did. So in this case, you can loop your hands through, you can grab it, the higher you grab it, more resistance, the lower, easier. So again, all that matters to me is that you find something that makes it a little bit more difficult for you. So starting off, same thing, my shoulders drop down, pull. From here, my arms are gonna come in, but just like when we did that band, right? My arms are just there to help. You will feel your biceps in this, they are involved, but they shouldn't just be like, most of the time when you see people doing pull-ups at the gym, and by most of the time, I mean, getting little dudes, right? They're like bicep curling their way up, because they're the only people that can get away with bicep curling their own weights, right? Nobody else can do that, especially women. We're more lower body dominant than upper body dominant. We just don't have the strength to do pull-ups incorrectly. So that's the good news. If you see a woman doing pull-ups, she's probably doing them right. So we don't have the strength to do it otherwise. So I'm trying to not use my arms predominantly. I'm trying to use my back. My chest is up. Again, if you get a little bit of an arch right now, not the end of the world. Later on, try and get rid of it. Pull the shoulders down, add those elbows in, those elbows add to the squeeze. I'm bringing it right about jaw height. It doesn't really need to go any lower than that. As I'm doing this, I want to think about my shoulders driving away from my ears. I don't want to pull down and then do this. Keep those shoulders nice and low. You should feel a good little squeeze through the middle of your back. You might also kind of feel it right around here underneath your armpits. Cool. Any questions?
Mm-hmm. See it? Is this one?
Yep.
Here we go.
I mean, a really good face either way, but
Move forward more? Or?
that's okay.
You know, you make
It's
this
good.
look a lot easier than it is.
That's my job.
I'm like, look how light these bands are. And I'm like, why are they?
You're like, wait a minute, that's my job is to make it look easy. And then people go do it, and they're like,
It's a good spot.
so same idea, think about pulling those shoulders down. Good, and then use your elbows come down, you're driving your shoulder away from your ears and squeezing back. Yeah, you didn't even go quite that far. Nice.
That was a weird noise.
I wasn't gonna say anything. Here we go. Yeah, drive the shoulders down, lift your chest up. Yeah, there we go. Think like your best like bro posture. Where it's just like,
Bro posture.
well, you're about to.
I have a.
You have gamer posture.
Totally. Oh no.
Sorry, I'm funny. I'm not actually. Good, let's do 3 more. Pull those shoulders down, yeah, squeeze them together. Good, I'm gonna do the same thing. I can put my hand between your shoulder blades, or I can try and squeeze it all the way down. Squeeze now. Pause right here, squeeze my hand. Yeah, good, now keep going. Pause right there, squeeze my hand more.
Oh my god.
Yeah, do 2 more like that. Different.
It's weird.
It's super weird.
Oh my god.
So, yeah, you felt it. Good. Pause right there, squeeze the shoulders back a little bit. Yeah, 1 more. Very nice. Yeah.
Sit at the desk for so long.
There's also more to it than that, but yes. That was a really, really good one. Good. Actually do 1 more. That was super good. Just so you can get that feeling. Nice. Very nice. Good. So yeah, your arms are trying to take over a little bit, which is normal. Our bodies do what they're used to doing. I couldn't think of a real life scenario where this was applicable until I had an old client go, what if you're like breaking into someone's house and really creep up into the window? Which I'm like, all right, let's not do that. Please, right?
Tuesdays.
Yeah, don't do that. But yeah, it's if you spend a lot of time sitting and stuff, those muscles do get weaker. But also, it's just not a movement we do in our day-to-day lives. No, you don't ever do this. So it's very foreign to our bodies, and it takes a lot of time just to feel out that movement. That's why pull-ups are so hard. Yeah, it takes a pretty considerable amount of strength, but even just learning the basic movement is so difficult because our bodies just don't do it. But it's great exercise for so many
But if
things.
you're a robber.
Unless you're a robber. Robber's got that upper body strength. Got that dope ass pulling strength. But that's basically it. So that's one of the first ways to start introducing the pull-up mechanic. So you can start building up the strength through the correct muscles to eventually be able to do one just pure body weight. That's it. Easy peasy challenge. Boom, done.
Air 5. Ow! No, don't hurt me yet.
What do you mean to do yet? You already did the challenge. Yeah, you spend way too much time doing it now.
Okay. It's a very, very awkward way to segue into the mental challenge.
We don't have any other way to segue.
Touche. Alright, so one of the things that I like to do periodically is kind of check in with myself and, as I progressively work on parts that, I feel like I need to either grow or just adjust a little bit so that I can be happier overall. I like to kind of check in and do a little bit of a role playing where I become my own mentor.
Okay.
And take a look and almost like assess my own progress. And I especially like to do it when, there are times when we set goals, right? And then we start working towards them and you get kind of ups and downs, right? Where you get like huge growth and then all of a sudden you get a little stuck and then you make a little breakthrough and then it kind of goes and, everything you're doing is like working and then eventually it does kind of plateau a little bit, right? Because as we start outgrowing things that we're doing, things start becoming more second nature, and then it sort of you get into a little bit of a rut. Yeah. Right. So it's good to just kind of check in. Okay. So what I want you to do is basically, we're gonna take a little break so you can kind of think about it. But basically, I want you to kind of sit down. You can meditate. You can just walk around. You can go clean. Do whatever you need to do, and kind of think about it, and basically be your own mentor, assess what's going on in terms of where your goals are and where you like to be, right? And what you're doing, and if things need to actually be like, if you notice any shifts that need to happen, if things are like, hey, I've outgrown this mode of thinking, this mode of doing things, right? Like, I don't need 5 steps to reach this one thought process anymore, and when I can do it in 2 now because everything's so intuitive, built in. So basically, just kind of reassess a little bit, and then we'll come back and you can kind of let me know kind of what what you came up with, where you think you might notice some adjustments that you could potentially make. Kind of play your own mentor.
Okay.
What you would do if you were coaching yourself, right? Because you're a very good coach.
Yeah.
You have a very good coach. But at the same time, we all get stuck in little things, and I kind of have to be like, okay, I've been doing this for a long time, and now it's just not working anymore. It's not getting me to where I want to go. Right? Do I need to just completely rip apart certain pieces that no longer serve me?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Ruminated.
I've ruminated. This was tricky for me. This was a really tough one. So I think I was talking to myself with my own mentor. I think I've gotten much better at recognizing certain difficult emotions as they come up, and like the scenarios when they come up. So especially like things surrounding fighting, as we've been talking about, me potentially having matchups and all this stuff. I always get the same anxieties, the same fears. And usually I have to like talk to my therapist, right? Like I have to there's a whole process where I'm like, okay, now I'm good. And I went through that over the last couple of days, and it was nice because I was like able to go, okay, instead of it being this whole long process, kind of go, okay, this is what I'm feeling. Let's recognize that. Let's talk about it with myself. Let's kind of address each of these pieces. And I was able to kind of probably within about a day take it from being this big scary thing that it always is, and have it be like, okay, I'm cool with that. Like this is all right. And be okay with all those emotions until they just kind of settle down on their own. So I've definitely gotten better at sort of streamlining that process. I think one of the things that I have a lot of room to work on is giving myself more mental space to do that in situations where I don't have as much practice. You might have noticed this, tend to get very busy and just like go. And I know that doesn't do me a lot of favors mentally. And so then when things do come up that might be triggering or might like kind of evoke certain emotions, it's harder for me to recognize them and implement those same steps that I know how to do in more familiar situations. So I think giving myself a little more mental space just throughout the week and throughout the day will kind of help me work towards that goal of being able to recognize these emotions as they come up, be okay with them, and navigate them in a little more like healthy way.
Yeah, and it's also, I think a lot of times we also don't give enough credit to okay, a lot of times we also don't give ourselves enough, give enough weight to the fact that, physical exhaustion impacts our ability to handle emotions, or even process them or recognize them, right? And then mental exhaustion as well is like the two compounding. Compounding.
I got you.
Wow.
One brain.
Speaking of mental exhaustion.
Big brain.
Speaking of mental exhaustion, compounding the problem, right? Where you're just like, when something happens, something that if you were feeling well, you'd be able to handle.
Yeah.
Right? But when you're not feeling really that great and you're just trying to power through, basically, even when it comes up, even if you're able to handle it, then you kind of can't, right? You don't have the brain cells just are drained and cannot process all this information. And then what ends up happening is that it's almost like a vicious cycle of then you start judging yourself for not being able to handle something that you know you should be able to handle, right? And then And then it's almost like regression.
Yeah.
But it's like self-sabotage.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's also a difficult thing. And but what would you say to yourself in that? Because given all the things that you recognize, right? What would you say to yourself? It's like third person,
Lorren to Lorren, I would say, good shit. Way to, nice job applying that to this scenario. Now let's level up. Let's make sure now that you know that you have the ability to do that, let's put yourself in a scenario where it makes that more realistic. It makes it easier for you to apply those things.
Okay. So what would be 3 steps to be able to get there?
Step 1 would be take a look at your schedule and block off specific time of, hey, this is your recovery time, this is your mental recovery time, so that you don't get inundated. Third person, right? Second would be get better at saying no, whether it's to going out or even things where like clients or things that would make you money that might help in the short term, but long term can be damaging. And third, when you're off, you're off. Like when you have that time, chill. Don't be thinking about all the things else that you need to be doing.
Are you on your phone when you're off?
Yes, but for me personally, that actually helps. That helps me turn my brain off from otherwise. Yeah, if I don't have a distraction, my brain's like, what are we gonna stress about right now? Yeah. I'm like, if I'm not distracted, I'm stressed. So that's my stress.
Very helpful.
Good job. Ow! Every week.